I've been married to a Monaghan woman now for, going on 29 years this year. We won't age ourselves too badly. And I have a fantastic brother-in-law, Mark McElroy, and a beautiful niece, Claire McElroy. And they're very much involved in the Monaghan Special Olympics team. Now, I was never a very athletic person, but in recent years, I started to do a bit of running. And to be honest, one of the things I would actually encourage you to try is to go along to any of the sport meets of the Special Olympics. And without getting too mushy on it, it really is moving to see these, people of all ages with varying amounts of ability, but ability doesn't come into it at all. They just get on with it. They compete. When you see the cynicism in modern sport at the moment, you should see that the purity of sport as it's carried out in the Special Olympics. Like, I remember one time there was a swimming meet, and it was a serious race, and they all dived in at the start of their race, but one of the swimmers got into a bit of difficulty because they slipped off the edge, and all the other swimmers stopped, turned around, see if they were okay, and restarted. Now, where are you going to see that? So I've always been very moved by the whole Special Olympics movement, but also it's run by people totally voluntarily. There's no big government grants. They're not getting paid to do this, so the whole thing is a community spirit. And again, another thing that's you can't fail to be inspired about. Now, when I'm running, I'm a bit of an elephant on the road. I'm not a natural runner, but I like running, and I like the fact that because I came late to it, the fact I can do it at all is a miracle. But I usually need something to motivate me. So the very first thing I did a couch to marathon. I wouldn't recommend it, but I started from scratch. Within 9 months, I ran a marathon. But to make sure I pushed myself on, I declared I would be raising money for the Monaghan Special Olympics. And because I as we say down in our part of the country, threw my cap over the wall, I had to proceed. And really, over the years, it's been like that. I usually need something to challenge me. And the fact that I pin this with a bit of charity raising kind of puts a bit of pressure on me, which I always need. But I've run a few marathons at this stage, a couple in Edinburgh and Dublin. The old bones are beginning to creak a bit. So I decided this year to pull back a small bit and just do 5 and 10Ks. But 5 and 10Ks aren't much of a challenge in themselves to raise money. So that's when I came up with the idea maybe of trying to run all the Dublin park runs, of which there's 23 in 1 year. And that's really the background to this kind of daft challenge.
I think that everyone knows that you can put yourself forward to do a challenge like this, or to even run any 5K or 10K. But it's not until, say, that you tell someone about it, or it becomes public knowledge that you're doing it, that really eggs you on. You can't then say, well, no, it's too wet, I'm not going to do it, or I'm tired, can't do it. It drives you on that you have to commit and do it all now.
It does, absolutely. And the thing is that, as you rightly said it's not just the running events themselves, but as you know, you have to put in a few hours between the events just to keep in shape. And, the weather hasn't exactly been balmy, as everyone knows, of recent times. So you come home from work, and the last thing you want to do is tog off and get out into the rain. But when you know then that there are people who are looking forward to seeing you doing your next bit, you kind of think, cracky, I better push myself on. Maybe I'm only speaking for me, but I think we're all a little lazy by nature, so you do need that little thing to push you. And Mark, no better man than Mark, my brother-in-law, he messages me and, asks how things are going. So the last thing you want to say is, well, actually, I'm not doing it anymore. So, no, you definitely do push yourself. And, because, again, they really do. I mean, every weekend and a lot of the evenings during the week, they go swimming, playing basketball. I mean, they travel the length of the province and sometimes the country. So it's just a little thing. And there's also a benefit for me. I'll be 55 in a few weeks' time. And to be honest with you, things don't come easy anymore. So I smell food and I put on a stone. So it's, there's a bit of benefit in it for me. So hopefully it's a kind of a win-win for everyone. Though when you do see me running on the road, I think people sometimes are encouraged to call the ambulance. I'm not a pretty runner at all, but sure, we all try.
But I think that's the beauty of parkrun, and that's what your challenge is all about, that there's 23 park runs in Dublin. You want to do all of them in a year. Parkrun is the sort of thing where anyone can turn up, whether you can walk, skip, jump, run it or crawl around. It's all about the participation of getting up on a Saturday morning, getting out and doing something.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more with you. And in fact, it's fitting in a way that the parkrun is the challenge that's connected to the Special Olympics, because like the Special Olympics, the parkrun is run by volunteers. People come out. In fact, I did the parkrun in Monaghan because I can't be in Dublin every weekend, and that's actually part of the challenge of the parkrun is more scheduling than running, because you can only do one parkrun a week because they all happen at the same time. And I'm generally in Dublin maybe half the time of year, so that's about 25 weekends. So I got to make sure I get a parkrun in every time available. So I was down in Monaghan and I just did the local parkrun. And the weather was, last Saturday it was fairly, if I can say the word, crappy. But the volunteers were there and they were encouraging people and they were standing at the different corners where you turn. So it's a fantastic organisation and they make everyone feel welcome. The beauty of this is that even, a lot of us would like to be active, and it's also very nice to be active with other people, but usually that means you have to come up to a standard that will allow you to play a sport or something with other people. But with parkrun, it doesn't matter. The most elite runners are delighted for the walkers. People will just simply walk the 5 kilometres, and everyone gets a kick because everyone is kind of setting their own bar, shall we say, and if they hit that, whether that's doing 5 kilometres in an hour or doing 5 kilometres in 15 minutes, it really doesn't matter. And I would really encourage, apart from people supporting the Special Olympics, support parkrun. You'd surprise yourself, and you get a kick out of it. Something which I would have been cynical about maybe 5-6 years ago before I started running, kind of saying, look, it's just not for me, that's for others. It's not. It's brilliant. It's a great stress buster.
And for people who don't know how the parkrun really works, at the start of them, before everyone sets off to go and do the 5K, there's normally a little bit of an introduction and asked if there's anyone who's not from around here. Have you used that opportunity then to, whenever you're travelling to different parkruns, to speak about your cause?
Absolutely. There's actually, the parkrun is run over, I can't give it exact, there must be at least a dozen countries in the world that does the parkrun, and within each country then there's a whole load of different sites, and it's all viewed as one community of all abilities. So when you go along to a parkrun, how it works, it's a brilliant system in that you only have to register once online, and you get a little barcode thingy that you can print out, and you can laminate that or keep it with you, and that's the only time you have to register or do anything official. From then on, you can turn up to any parkrun anywhere in the world, whatever the nearest one is to you. And at the start, there's usually an organizer gathering people. They'll tell you something about, this run, it's 2 loops or laps around the park, things to watch out for. And then they say, who are the newbies here? And loads of people put their hands up, and, who's from other places. And, people will talk to you. And some people who it's their first time kind of feel as if they're, they shouldn't be here because they can hardly run, and people will encourage them to, no, you'll be absolutely grand. And when you're out on the course, as people will pass you. I mean, Jesus, there was a lady with a pram who passed me last weekend, which really puts yourself in, your feet on the ground. But they say, well done. So it's really encouraging. And you don't have to pre-book. If you can't, you just turn up on the morning of any particular race and you're good to go. So it couldn't be simpler and it couldn't be nicer. And the great thing then is that you get your barcode at the end scanned, and within an hour or two on their official website you get your official time. You can see how you did. They break it down into age bracket. So for very little effort you start getting to feel part of our running community, and which is, I think a fantastic idea.
And as we said at the start, a big part of any challenge is publicising that you're actually doing it. If people want to follow your progress, you've set up a website and you've blogs where you're, I suppose, recapping on every parkrun that you've done.
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for this opportunity, because really the whole point about this is raising awareness of the Special Olympics, and in particular, closer to my heart, the Monaghan Special Olympics. I have a website which is www.115, that's 115 km challenge. That's just 23 park runs by 5 kilometres. So it's 115 km challenge, all one word, .com, and you'll get all the lowdown and the latest on what I'm doing. Now, the plan is that it's going to take me most of the year to get to do 23 park runs. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get at least half of them or a bit more under my belt, just to show people I'm serious about this. And then I'm just going to set up a GoFundMe page. So people can click on the website to get updates. So when I update a blog, you'll get a little email to say the Egypt has been out on the road again, and these are his latest adventures. But like, money, of course, is very good. But what's really brilliant is if anyone, anywhere who's listening to this, hears of a Special Olympic meet somewhere, they usually have, kind of sporting meets a few times of the year or things like that. Just simply go to it. They absolutely love people going out and cheering them on. And that is worth anything. So without even putting a hand in your pocket, just, try and support and go along. But I will, towards the latter half of the year, have an opportunity for people to put their hands in their pocket, and hopefully I'll survive. At the moment, the biggest challenge is getting to the meets, and I bought a Honda 50 recently, and I've had more misadventure on the Honda 50 than I've had on the running course. But touch wood, we'll get to the 23 runs.